So, I want to walk you guys through an important concept in coaching, which is utilizing subjective and objective variables to make coaching based decisions, and the importance of not overemphasizing or overreacting to one or two variables and instead looking at the bigger picture when driving decision making. And I'm going to use myself as a case study here so you guys can get a real life practical application of this concept. So, on the left is me from this last week, and on the right is my check in from this previous week, so a day ago. And as you can see on the right, I have a lot softer midsection visually. My leg definition is about the same, arms look about the same, but I'm holding more in my midsection, and I don't have quite the same definition and taper down by like these obliques. I physically can't see the same amount of abs. Now, this is just a 1 week difference and about a 3 pound difference, which I am in a surplus right now. So weight gain is the goal, but obviously that's a bit of a excessive rate of gain, at least what my target is right now. So as you can see, some obviously visual changes and an objective change in the scale weight. And based on these, most coaches would assume that a lot of fat gain had occurred and would make decisions based on that, like dropping calories, increasing cardio a lot, or saying, hey, sorry, man, you gained a bunch of fat. Let's just keep rolling forward. But it's, again, important that we look at all the variables. And I'm going to walk you guys through some subjective and objective variables that can help drive home this point. So subjective variables from 2 weeks ago, I was feeling great digestively, no issues there. I had awesome pumps during training. My training was on a hot streak for quite a while. No joint pain while training. I was excited to train every day. Sleep quality was awesome. And then this previous week, my digestion kind of went to shit. I was gassy and bloated. I was feeling a little bit congested, not like sick, but I was definitely feeling a little congested, just a little off. Joint pain during training. Like I'd go on my pendulum squat, try to start to break my knees on the way down, and my joints would just scream at me. Just even in my elbows when I was doing curls, nothing felt great this week training. And my DOMS was lasting longer than normal too. So normally my legs are sore for 2, maybe 3 days. They've been sore for like 4 or 5 days this week. And so just a lot longer than it normally is. And my sleep quality was tanked this week. We're sleep training the girls, meaning we're trying to get them to sleep in their own beds. And every time they're waking up, I'm having to like walk them back to their rooms. And that's just really tanking sleep quality and length of sleep time. Objectively, 2 weeks ago, my training performance, like I said, has been on a increase. It's been really ticking along very well. Body weight was 231.5. Blood pressure was in a pretty good spot considering the fact I'm in a push phase here. My abs were just a lot tighter on the left here. And on the right, my training performance has been kind of up and down this last week. So, roughly maintenance, which isn't terrible. But when looking at these other factors, it puts it into context. Body weight was up by about 3 pounds. My blood pressure had a bigger increase this week, and I'm having a lot harder time controlling my midsection here on the right, as we've seen in the favorite classic, in the front double by. Just my midsection, I just couldn't control it in any of those shots. So what are these variables telling us? The biggest thing I noticed is I was just overall a lot more inflamed, and the variables kind of confirm the same thing. Again, more joint pain, muscle soreness, bloating, increased body weight, and blood pressure are all signs of inflammation. And here's the kicker. Nothing in my plan has changed for a few weeks now. So something happened that drove this inflammation and this change. So what caused it? Well, it's hard to know exactly what drove it, but I have a few thoughts here that likely compounded together. Number one, sleep quality and quantity, again, was pretty shit, due to sleep training the girls. As we sleep less, it's hard to overcome what less sleep does to our body. The only way really to offset poor sleep is to get more sleep. You can control volume all you want. You can add all the food you want and even try to be, managing your stress well, but it's still not going to make up for the fact that you aren't sleeping. I have been on a tear in the gym, like I said before, which as you get stronger, you're able to tap into higher levels of failure, maybe even add a little bit of volume. That's all going to put additional strain on your system to recover from that training. So you got to remember that you can't just like infinitely progress forever and add variables and add intensity and all these things. Eventually keeps up with you. And I'll make a post on this at a later date, but I really think it's pretty impressive if someone can have like 6 to 8 weeks of like really solid progressive training. If you're training really hard, usually life and other things will catch up to you in that meantime and make you have like a pullback week or two. You don't want to necessarily plan a lot for it, but that's beside the point. It's just things like that tend to come up. And so to string together like weeks and weeks of hard training is impressive. And then 3, I've had some big decisions to make regarding our business, which has driven some stress this last week. So stress plus sleep plus hard training is stress on the body, and that equals inflammation. what adjustments did I make to help kind of pull this back this week? Again, in these situations, it's easy to like overcomplicate the decisions that need to be made and make a bunch of like rash adjustments. In reality, my body just needed a little bit of a break and to chill just a little bit because this isn't a chronic issue. I'm doing a lot of things in my day to manage like stress and inflammation and assist in recovery from training. So there's nothing I'm really missing the boat on. But a couple of small things I did, just knowing my body, having worked with myself and lots of other clients like me, is that so today I brought down calories a bit from carbs and fats just to give my digestion a bit of a break. Like with training, when we push food up for long periods of time, we see your digestive system start to fight back just a little bit. And sometimes having a day or two of a little bit lower food while in a growing phase or like a little bit of a modified fast can help to reset that digestion, so to speak. I'm taking the next couple of days off of training. Mentally, I just like wasn't super pumped to train. And sometimes, yeah, you got to push through that. But when you're really trying to hit high levels of progress, those sessions are very intense and need to be very progressive. And to like try to push through that when you're not feeling great and your joints hurt and your muscles aren't feeling good, means you probably need to take a little bit of a pullback. I'm going to sleep in the next couple of days here. So normally I wake up real early to work. Instead of doing that, I'm going to just sleep in a little bit more to help with that sleep deficit that I was experiencing. I'm trying to take a nap as well during my normal training times because I have those couple hours allotted for training, maybe sneak in a quick nap. And I'm definitely going to be spending some time like outside and in general just chilling. I want to get outside, take some like light walks, nothing crazy intense. Get some of that grounding, reduce some inflammation that way, whatever that might do. Get some sun exposure. Just overall, just try to bring down some of that nervous system stress that I had experienced the previous week. I'm going to make sure I absolutely nail my water intake and up it just a little bit just to help flush things out. And overall, those adjustments should get me back on track. Again, this is something I've dealt with in the past. I've got really good at working with people in suboptimal circumstances that have these types of life things come up. The important thing here is that I stay on track real tight the next week so I can assess how those interventions worked before I need to make any potentially bigger overhauls here or it becomes a chronic issue. So moral of the story for coaches, number one, like don't make snap decisions based on one or two variables. You need to look at the big picture objectively and subjectively before making decisions. And then for clients, make sure you are reporting really well back to your coach so they can make better decisions for you. If you're not giving them very much feedback and you just see a body weight increase, well, if that's all I have to go off of, I have to make a decision based off of that. But in my case, when coaching myself, I give myself a lot of variables and feedback, which helps me make better decisions. So the adjustments, and to wrap this up, the adjustments you need to make, it's often simpler than you think, but just make sure it's made with as much information that you have as possible. If you guys have any questions on this, any decisions I made, why I made them, please drop some comments below. If there's any issues that you're struggling with, let me know in the comments and I can help answer that in a future video.